Here is an EOA Live Grande story.
On Saturday, October 26th, the Association of Oregon Rail and Transit Advocates held a public meeting in Grande to discuss the return of passenger rail service to Eastern Oregon. AORTA President John Nuxoll described the organization's mission to us.
My name's John Nuxoll. I am president of AORTA, the Association of Oregon Rail and Transit Advocates. We're a volunteer organization that organized this meeting in Grande today, and for many years we've been working to improve public transportation, especially rail in Oregon. We put together this meeting today because we've heard from a lot of people over here that would like to see train service restored through the Blue Mountains, Boise, possibly beyond, and our purpose was to educate people, to organize them, and hopefully a local group will come out of this. I'm from Eugene. A lot of our board members are from the greater Portland area. We really support this. I would use it a lot to visit family in Boise, but it is an effort that really needs to have grassroots support here. We hope we got that started today.
Some may ask the question, if we build a rural passenger rail system, will they come? PSU student Jeff Broderick, who presented at the meeting, discussed data about rural passenger rail usage throughout the country.
In many press articles, the myth is that people do not ride long-distance trains, but my data shows that small town people who live in small towns or smaller regions patronize long-distance passenger services at about the same rate that people who live in the Northeast Corridor between Boston and Washington, D.C. do. There are many more trains that go between those places where long-distance trains, it's usually just one train a day in each direction, but the per capita ridership is very similar between long-distance passenger services and short-distance passenger services.
And what does our community think? We spoke to the Grande resident Bill Whitaker about his thoughts on restoring passenger rail service to the region.
My takeaway is that this was really a great meeting today. It was good to see people from a lot of different towns, Baker City, Halfway, Union, Cove, Grande. So it's really good. And, you know, I think that there are a number of reasons that we really need passenger train service back in this area. One's convenience. That it would be really great to be able to get easily to Portland or to Boise or points in between, regardless of weather. So we don't have to worry about Cabbage Hill being frozen in or iced in on the other end of town. And a second thing is that just to be able to ride the train rather than driving, you can do a lot of good things while you're riding, and you don't have to be tied up with actually driving that distance. Second thing for me is cost, because gasoline just to drive, if you want to drive 4 hours or 4.5 hours to Portland, is pretty expensive. And if you look at depreciation of your car and everything, I'd much rather take the train. And then for me, the third thing is really carbon. We're faced with a climate crisis, and anything that we can do to lower the amount of carbon that's going into the atmosphere and CO2 as a greenhouse gas is really important. So I think for these reasons, the restoration of passenger service would be really fantastic.
I have been a supporter of better train service for many years, not only in the Northwest, but also in other places that I've lived. And I feel that it's something that has to happen on the local level, and so every state, every community needs to get together and make something real happen. And that's what this is about, trying to recreate service that we used to have that doesn't necessarily have to be the same as what it used to be, but it certainly should be served. This part of the state is just not doesn't have much in the way of service or any, and so we need to fix that.
I came to Grande as a representative with All Aboard Washington to help AORTA and mobilizing the community here to understand that the Amtrak Cascades that they would like to see restored service through this area is something that they should get behind. I'm doing the same project in Eastern Washington. I'm a former legislator, and I'm very concerned that the Cascade service, which both states are paying for, is not taking into consideration the needs of the rural communities in both those states. And it's important that we look at this as a system, that the Cascades should be helping out more than just the I-5 corridor.